front shoulders. The front shoulders, this one. And drops. 3 sets. Let's go.
Everyone to rate their looks on a scale of 1 to 10. Their looks, physical looks, scale 1 to 10. We'll start with you. We'll go around the table. Go ahead.
8. So 8.5.
8, 8.5.
I'm a 10.
7.
8.
6.5.
I'd say 7.5, 8, 4.
That's lower than last time. Yeah. I used to say 6. I'm a 5.
In front of all these beautiful women, how could I ever not humble myself down to a 4, really?
Proud of you, Andrew.
Yeah.
Took guts.
I'm a 5. I give myself a 5. So wait, 8, 8.5, 10, 7? 8? Okay. All right.
Brian, you rated yourself lower than usual.
Yeah, I've been getting a little chubby.
6.5.
See, now that's humble.
Yeah, that's humility.
That's
right there.
humble. That's humility. Right? That's the thing that's usually harder for men to do. Just say it. Just point it out.
I've noticed a pattern here. I think men tend to fairly accurately self-assess their own level of physical attractiveness, whereas
I've heard
women
men
not so
have
much.
more self-esteem issues than women do.
What's that?
I've heard men have more self-esteem issues than women do.
I feel like I disagree a little.
Why would you say that?
Just, and I also heard that they're also more emotional.
Are they?
Who have you heard these
Yeah,
things
because,
from?
well, I mean, you guys will act off based off pride, and that is going to be like an emotion thing, not necessarily logic.
Okay.
Do you think men or women have more cosmetic surgery?
I think probably women.
Yeah, probably women. Do you think that that's because they have way more self-esteem than men?
I
good
don't
point.
think that necessarily what I'm talking about is the same thing. I just mean like,
Well, I think it is.
Metric.
well, for instance, you just rated yourself a 4, right?
Yeah.
And maybe people may not agree with you, and I just rated myself a 10, and people may not agree with me, right? But we're just talking about simple our self-esteem. My self-esteem is clearly higher.
No,
than yours.
I'm not sure that we are. I think that what we're talking about is a value judgment. And I think that I'm making a way better value judgment than the value judgment that you're making. So the value judgment that I'm making is this. I'm old, and I'm married, and I'm out of shape, and I smoke, right? And I'm not a very pleasant person to be around for long periods of time, especially for the opposite sex. Like, I know all of these things about myself. So my value judgment overall is a 4. Tell me the value judgment of how you came to a 10.
Oh yeah. I just think that in general we should think that we are great.
Right. So you just decided it there's no value judgment there. You just decided it.
Yeah, he asked me what I would rate myself, and because it's my opinion
Looks.
about myself,
Just looks.
It took a long time for me to love myself, and I do now. And so yeah, I think that I'm a Misty 10.
I have a question for you. Wait, hold on, just one sec. Do you think
you're a 7.5?
I said 8.
Oh.
Yeah, get it right.
How
Andrew.
did you
Get
come?
it right,
How did you
Andrew.
come to that value judgment?
Because I don't put within my value within a rigidity. That's not the right word. Rigidity. Thank you.
Rigidity, yeah.
I don't put that within that rigidity of certain, I guess,
Value judgments.
more subjective opinions about what value is, because I know my value, I know my worth, and I know my beauty that I hold within myself for myself, and that is appreciated by other people. Because at the end of the day, beauty is subjective, and it is absolutely within my right to hold myself to a higher value in how I conduct myself in the world around me.
Yeah, but when you're talking about the value judgment here, my wife, I'm sure that she has a way higher value judgment of me than I have of me. I would agree that she probably should. From her subjective assessment, she probably thinks I'm a great provider. She thinks I'm a great father. She thinks I take care of all of my responsibilities and duties. She can 100% trust me. So she probably has this really high value judgment of me. But when I'm doing an actual assessment of me, like Andrew Wilson, the person, and my looks and how it's reflected outwards to other people, right? I'm adding this value, this value, this value, this value, this value, like a mathematical formula to come up with that equals 4. What are you doing to come up with that other than I just think that we should have high self-esteem because I just think so.
Because I know I'm a good person. Because frankly, if we want to get aesthetic, I don't have a busted face. I'm fat. And if people want to reduce my value because of my fatness, that's not my problem. And that is not the ideology I hold for myself. I am someone who is pursuing weight loss, not for aesthetics, not for looks, but for my health. And it is something I'm moving forward with because I have been for the past 2 to 3 years now working on my self-love and loving myself into a place to care enough about myself to take my health back into control. When I was being consistently shamed, when I was gang stalked on r/fat people hate in 2015, when I have
Looks like it worked.
I'm still speaking.
I mean, it looks like it worked.
I'm still
right?
speaking.
It
and you
works
get-
because you're going to
you know,
change.
you're really great at over talking and being disrespectful, and I'd love the opportunity to get my point across.
Okay, but so just to cut in here a little bit, the original question was rate your looks, because
Yeah.
you mentioned your personality. You have a great personality or whatever it is.
And like
He
I said,
mentioned
my
his
fatness
personality.
doesn't devalue me
Why?
So I'm an 8.
Why doesn't it?
because I think that fat
'Cause you
can be beautiful. It's my assessment of my looks, right?
Perceptive.
Yeah, but why
okay.
is it that your own
Why ask
assessment
her
of
to
your
tell her
looks
that her
has
perception's wrong?
nothing to do with how the external world perceives you? That's my
Because
problem.
I don't give a
But how
shit.
can you
Right, because you don't
decide?
care, so there's no
I
real
don't care
value
about,
judgment.
I don't care about other people's
how can
opinion
you-
of
how
me.
can
It's
you
not more
speak for
important
the
than the
rest
opinion
of
of
the
I hold
world?
of myself.
Yeah,
and
it
if you
is.
if you don't live that way, that sucks for you.
If there's a value judgment of how you would self-assess your own looks, the only possible conceivable metric I could even think of would be the perception of how other people view you for your value judgment
and
of
I
how
was in a
you look.
relationship for
How would
almost
you
8
know
years with
about
someone
that,
who
though?
thought my
How would you-
body
how could he-
was
how could
the
you ever
most
come up with a
beautiful
metric?
thing he had
That's what I'm saying.
ever
He
seen.
decided it was